Hello everybody, my name is Marlo and today I'm going to show you how to build an ocean house in Minecraft. This is another episode of my tutorial series where I'm building a house for every main biome in the game. Make sure you subscribe to catch all of the new builds, and you can also check out the playlist linked in the description down below to find all of the other houses that have already been done. Before we start building, you're going to want to check out the description down below for a full materials list of all of the items needed for the build. Although I'm describing this as an ocean house, it doesn't have to be built in the middle of the ocean. You could do it a bit nearer to the shore, beside the beach, in a lake, in a river, just any body of water, and it'll be absolutely fine. When it comes to picking a spot to build this house in, there's only one thing you're really looking for, and that is to make sure you're at least 10 blocks under the sea level. So the sea level is at Y63, so as long as your Y coordinate is 53 or below, you'll be all good. And if you don't want to check the Y level like that using F3, just get yourself 10 temporary blocks and place them down, and as long as you're able to place them all down before going above the water, so no more than this, you'll be all good to start the build. So the first thing we're going to do is build our 4 pillars, which are made out of stripped dark oak logs. Now the amount of these you'll need will depend on how high or low you are to the surface level. So I'm pretty close to it. I'm starting on Y52, so I'm not going to need that many, but obviously you're going to need more if you're a lot lower down. But we're going to build 4 pillars. All of them are 2 by 2 pillars. So we're going to start with our logs, and we're going to do the back right one first of all. So we'll just place in 4 logs like that. Then we'll come forward to do the front right pillar, and we're going to leave 1, 2, 3, and then on the 4th block we can do another. So there's 3 blocks in between these 2. Then we can go across to the side, and we're going to leave a gap of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on the 6th block, we can do another 2 by 2. And then we just need to do another over here. So 5 blocks from that one, 3 blocks from that one should put us right here. And as you can see, this is actually lower down a level. That doesn't matter because they're all going to be brought up to the same one. It'll just mean you need slightly more or less logs. So once you have this rectangle shape of logs, making sure they're all lined up the way they should be, as mine are here, we're going to bring all of them up to Y56. So as you can see, mine are currently on Y53. That means for mine personally, we want to place 3 more on top of all of them to get ourselves to that Y56 over here. If you don't want to use coordinates, all you have to do is get some other blocks here, and as long as you can count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 and just breach above the water, that's when you know you're at the right level. So basically 7 blocks from sea level here. So just to go over it one more time, you should have 4 pillars with the front and the back being 5 blocks apart and the left and the right being 3 blocks apart, all going to Y56, aka 7 blocks from the top of the water there. Just being thorough for this part because obviously it's very important for the rest of the build where the height is concerned. But now that bit's done, we can move on to the next part, which is going to require some white concrete or concrete powder in this case. You don't actually need to convert it since we're underwater, it'll do it itself at this level. So we're going to grab some white concrete, and we're basically just going to make a rim all the way around the outside of these pillars. So we're just placing the outer block just one away from the pillars itself like that to make this rectangle, and then afterwards we can go ahead and fill it all in. With this platform built, we can now pick which side we want to be the front and the back. So the front and the back are the longer sides here, so where there are 5 blocks in between the pillars. So just depending on which side you want the front to be, it doesn't really matter that much, I'll be honest, but whichever you want that to be, you want to come to the right side of this platform here, and 1 block inwards from the corner, we just want to place in a white concrete block and then go along 6 blocks more to get to the other corner. So that should be 7 blocks of white concrete, and then coming inwards to the middle on these 2 outer blocks, we're going to place 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Same again round the back here, so that should be 6, 6, and then 7. Then we can grab some grey concrete, and just next to these blocks here, we're going to mark one of those. Then we're going to leave a gap and mark one over here too. And what we want to do with these grey concrete blocks is go up by an additional 11 blocks, so they are all 12 blocks high. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Hopefully yours will load in and won't be invisible, but it should take you up to level Y equals 69. then we can go ahead and do that for all of the other pillars, as I've already done for the back two as well. So once you have these all in position, 12 blocks high, we can then come to the smaller sides here with just the 1 block in between. And we're going to come to the bottom and we're going to place a block here. Then we're going to place 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 light stained grey glass blocks. So they go all the way up to the water level. Then we're going to have 5 more of the glass panes. And we just want to stick another grey concrete on the top like that. And we can also go ahead and do it around this side too. With these two now built, we can come round to this side of the build, so the opposite to where we have these white concrete blocks, and we're going to grab some grey concrete and we're just going to place 5 going along there from one side to the other. Then we can also have 3 more in the middle, and we can grab our glass blocks and we're going to place 3 here on either side and then 3 more in the middle. So this should be up by an extra block. And then all we need to do is basically just go ahead and fill the rest of the blocks in, going up to the water level here. So it should look like that. And then above the ocean level, what we're going to do is once again start with a line of blocks going all the way across, and then with 2 on either side like that. Then in the center block, we can grab some glass panes and we're going to place 1, 2, and 3. And then on the 2 sides, we can place in 3 more going up 1 block higher. And then next to the glass panes, we can have 3 of them either side, 1 more in the middle, and then 5 going across the top to connect it like that. We're going to come back to this open side later on when we're actually working on the interior, just because it's going to be a little bit easier that way to actually get around and place the blocks. So what we're going to do instead is actually work on this portion of the house, so this side of it. So what we want to do to begin with here is just come to this second glass block. So not the concrete on the bottom, not the first glass, the second glass. And we're going to place some white glass this time, going all the way across and just kind of following this white concrete outline that we have. So that's 6 on either side and 7 across the side here. And then we can go ahead and extend that up by 2 more blocks, going all the way around to the other side, making sure these are all full glass blocks. You don't want to be using panes here, otherwise it's going to make it look a little bit weird with the water. But then what we can do is grab our barrels, and on top of the glass blocks, very simply, we're just going to place them all on top of it like this. So the top of the barrel should be facing upright like that. And underneath the glass, you should be able to see the bottom texture, which is what we want to do on the underside here. So this is going to take a little bit longer, but you just want to go around and look up into each individual glass block and place the barrel upside down. So you should be able to see this texture, which as you can see, looks a little bit nicer than the top texture. So once you've got that texture going all the way around, we can then go ahead and grab some spruce trapdoors, and you just want to lay them out so that we can close them and cover up all of the white concrete blocks on the bottom here. So basically just following the outline that we've kept with here with the barrels and the glass, just keeping to that same pattern, covering up all of the white concrete blocks like that. After you've got that finished, we can come up to the top level here out of the water for now, and we're just going to do another white concrete outline following all of the barrels here, of course crouching when you're actually placing it on the barrel, giving us this shape. And then we can go across from this one to the other side and very simply just go ahead and fill all of this in with some more white concrete. Then we can grab some more spruce trapdoors, and we're going to do the same as what we did for the bottom here, but making sure we place the trapdoors at the bottom of the block. And we're doing that for a very good reason, and I'll show you it here. So for example, if we placed it on the top ones here, this is actually how we get into the base itself. So when we're swimming along in survival, we're not going to be able to jump on top of this trapdoor very easily. But if it's at the bottom of the block, we can just hop on, jump up, and close it again. So make sure when you're placing in all of the trapdoors, you're actually clicking on the bottom of the block, not the top, as that's actually your staircase to get to the build itself. Next up, we can grab some more stripped dark oak logs again, and we're actually going to come to these 2 spots right here, so one in diagonally from that grey concrete, and we're just going to place in 2 3-high pillars. Then we're going to leave a gap of 3 next to both of those and place in 2 more and do the same again. Then we can grab some light blue concrete and we're just going to make a square touching all of the tops of these logs. So we have something like this, a 5x5 square that we can go ahead and fill in with some more concrete, with the exception of the center block here. That's actually going to become a sea lantern. Now, if you don't have access to sea lanterns or you just don't want to go get them, understandable, fair enough. You can just use any other lighting source and put an iron trapdoor to cover it up. Or if you don't like how that looks, you can just go ahead and place a torch or anything in there and cover it up with a birch trapdoor maybe. Then you can't see through, but it'll still let all of the light out and stop any mobs spawning up here. And lastly, for this clip, we just want to go ahead and add 3 glass panes next to all of these logs on the inside like this, as well as 1 at the top to connect them like so, turning them into a bit of an archway for the entrances. Next up, we can grab some of our smooth quartz slabs and we're going to come to the bottom half of these light blue concrete blocks and we're just going to place an outline going all the way around from one side to the other so it connects back up over here. Then we want to go up by half a block and place them here so you can just about see a sliver of light blue concrete, which is going to look really nice when we get all the way around. As you can see, we can connect back up to the other side and you can just see that little sneak peek of blue, which I think looks really, really nice. Then we can come up to the top here and we're just going to add another line of slabs and then we're going to add 2 more in the middle. Now, this next bit, totally optional. You don't have to, but I'm going to be adding in some daylight detectors on these spots right here and actually turn them to night mode because I think it looks a little bit cooler. And these are meant to be looking like solar panels. Of course, they do nothing. They are totally aesthetic. So if this block is a little bit expensive or you just don't like the look of it, get rid of them and replace them with the slabs. But with this modern styled house that we're kind of building here, I really do quite like using this little trick. So if you want to, add some daylight detectors in there for solar panels. If not, just replace them with the slabs. Whilst we're up here, we can go ahead and add 5 grey concrete connecting up one side to the other like that, and also 5 light grey glass in the center, just to add a bit of a skylight into this section of the build, letting some natural light in, which will be really cool. Then we can just go ahead and grab some spruce trapdoors and outline this portion of the build with that concrete, making sure you place them all in the same direction so you kind of get that flush texture and can't really see between them. And then lastly, what we need to do for the exterior of the build is a similar thing to at the top with the spruce trapdoors, making sure they're all in the same direction. And that is just to place them underneath all of these smooth quartz slabs. So you get something that looks like this. And there we go. That is the outside of the build all done. We can now hop on up here and start work on the interior. Before we place in any blocks, we're actually going to go ahead and clear all of this water. Now, there are 2 ways you can do this. If you have sponges, just place a couple of sponges. It'll be super simple. But if you don't, they are quite a hard block to get a hold of. Grab a lot of sand and we're just going to go ahead and kind of place them all along this first row here, filling it up completely to the top to get rid of all of the water sources. And then as you go on, you basically want to do row by row and do that for all of the blocks and get rid of the sand. That way you won't have any water left behind. Or alternatively, like I said, if you have sponges, just go ahead and place a few of these down and hopefully you should be able to get rid of all of the water. Now we've got the water cleared, we're going to go ahead and complete this side of our grey concrete part of the build and just kind of finish it all up entirely. So what we can do to begin with is on these corner blocks here, so next to these concrete blocks, the grey ones, is place 2 down like that. Then we're going to go and place a line all the way across at the top row here, 1 block underneath that white concrete. And then we're going to place 2 down on either side like that. Then we're going to place 5 down, 1 block inwards, just going all the way down to the bottom here like that, giving us this at the moment. So that should be 5 blocks and that should be 2 on either side. Then we can go ahead and at the same level with these grey concrete blocks, just go ahead and add in 3 like that. And then on this block and this block, we're going to come down by 1, 2, 3, and 4. Same again over here. So you should have something like this. Now, the way we get up and down to the top and the bottom of this build is with bubble columns and just falling into water. So go ahead and pick which side you want to be your bubble column and place a soul sand there, and which side you want to be the downwards, the one you just fall into water. It doesn't have to be anything special, just grey concrete on that one there. Then we can go ahead and just place 2 spruce signs on the outer blocks like that to stop the water flowing into this section of the build. And on the grey concrete one, so this is the down chute, we just need 2 blocks like that. Obviously, to get all of these water sources, just punch a hole in the glass for now and you have access to unlimited water and you're surrounded by your infinite water source. So that's how you can kind of supply this bubble stream. So obviously, as you do that 1 bucket at a time, you want to go 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, all the way up to this level right here. Then we can grab a spruce slab and we're just going to place that in the center on this block with a spruce trapdoor either side of it and a spruce stair in front of it. So we should have something like this. Then you can grab some grey concrete and on these 2 blocks either side, we just basically want to bring them all the way up to the top of the blocks like that. And then have 2 more in the center here. So there we go. That is all of the grey concrete placed in. So we got this nice archway to get into this section of the build where we can turn left and fall down to the bottom, and we'll start work here shortly. But to go back up, we just enter the bubble column and return to the top of the build, where we can actually start furnishing up here. So the first thing we're going to do is just place our bed on this spot right here. So on this side of the build, 1 block inwards from the glass, that's where our bed's going to go. And at the bottom, we can have a sign, a spruce one that is, and at the top we can have a spruce trapdoor, just to make it look a little bit more interesting as opposed to just a bed. And then over here in the 2 corners, we can have a cartography table and smithing table, or switch them around so you can actually get some of the cartography blocks on show, because that is not directional, as some of you may know. And on top of it, we're just going to place some flowers in some flower pots. And then lastly, all we want to do real quick is just place a temporary block right here and just cycle through until you get whichever 1x1 painting you want on show. I guess it doesn't really matter. That one will do just fine. Now we can head down to the bottom level and start work on our enchanting setup, which is going to be going right in the center here. So we can start by placing 3 bookshelves along the back row. Then we're going to have 4 here either side and 3 more here. Now you need 15 bookshelves for 30 level enchantment. So go ahead and place your enchanting table there and it'll tell you it's level 28. So we need 1 more. So just pick one of these corners and place it in. You can place it in both of them if you like. I'm just trying to save you a bookshelf because these are actually getting covered up by some furnaces, as well as a blast furnace and a smoker. So it doesn't matter if you leave a corner block open. But go ahead, place those furnaces down. Then we can have an ender chest in the center, 2 brewing stands, 1 either side, with an anvil over here and a grindstone over here. All very helpful blocks to have on hand. Now we don't really want all of these blocks to be able to fall into. It would be better to have a flat surface to walk along. So next to these furnaces on the bottom of them, just go ahead and crouch and place 3 spruce trapdoors. Then 2 here either side of the enchanting table, 2 more here, just place a temporary block, and then 1 more over here. So you can still access the enchanting table, but you're going to be able to just kind of walk flat around here and not have too much of a change in Y level. So it'll just make it a bit easier to get around and access all of your items. So with that in place, we can now turn around to this little section, and we're going to place a crafting table right here in the floor. Then we're going to place a loom on this spot. You can either have it facing frontways or sideways, depending on which texture you want on show. We're going to go with frontways for this time, I think. Then a stonecutter on top of that one. And last but not least, right in the center of this room, just to light it up, we're going to have an end rod and a sea lantern hanging down from below as a bit of a chandelier, shall we say. A chandelier, shall we say? I meant to say a chandelier, shall we say. Bit of a tongue twister there. Now I know some of you may be wondering, where is all of the storage? Well, my friends, that is what all of these barrels are for. As you can see, we implemented them into the aesthetics of the build, but they are still perfectly accessible, all the ones along the top here, as well as these 4. Unfortunately, those around the back you can't access, but hopefully that should be enough storage. And of course, if you're not sure what's in them all, you can label by placing some item frames along the floor, for example, and along the top you just kind of to have to place them on the ceiling like that. Obviously, those corner ones would have to share a block, but it's just an option if you actually want to label all of your storage. But of course, you don't have to. You can just leave it blank. So there we go, everybody. That's how you build an ocean house in Minecraft. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and are looking forward to the next biome house that we get to. Let me know which one you would like me to do in the comments down below. But thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.